This is Astroline, the off-season show for the Houston Astros. We are so pleased to be joined by Hunter Brown, all the way from up in Michigan, right? That's where you are,
That is correct. Yeah, I've been hanging out up here.
where the
So
temps are low,
that's
I'm
right.
assuming.
That's right. Vibes are high though. Vibes are
Times are
high,
high.
Julia. Come on.
Always, always, always with you too. Okay, tell me what a typical off-season day looks like for you right now.
Excuse me. Well, wake up, shower, just like anybody else. If we're gonna start there, get some coffee in you. You gotta get the caffeine flowing. Head over to the gym. I usually get there around 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:30, give or take. Um, I leave at probably 2:30.
Wow.
Uh, so yeah, I do my whole, you got mobility training, you got conditioning, throwing, then I usually sauna. So all the really, really good stuff that you do 5 days a week so you can get out there and play during the season. Then after that, I'm usually like come home. I like to grocery shop every day. I'm not like a weekly guy. I like to go and get what I'm cooking for dinner that night. Yeah, and then mostly just for anybody out there, you probably see me online games, MLB The Show. Sorry if I gave you that work, but that's kind of filling up some time. But yeah, just kind of hanging out after that, cooking some dinners, seeing the fam, seeing some friends.
Yeah.
You know the
Yep.
daily life. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, let's go back to the fact that you're going to the grocery store every day. Some people can't stand going to the grocery store, and this is like part of your routine. But why? Why? I mean, are you like super healthy right now? Like, what are we regimented? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like I'm not eating the exact same thing every day, like counting exactly how much protein and carbs I'm putting in. But no, I like to go every day. So I'm trying, yeah, keeps the food fresh. I don't
That's
have a lot of I don't know what they say in Step Brothers, but I like a lot of fresh fruit around the house. I like to so no, so I don't know. Just that way you know what you're getting that day. That's kind of what I like doing.
I wouldn't have guessed that about you. Okay, I like it. And you obviously are doing something right here in your off seasons too. I know you work closely with your trainer, somebody that you've
Hmm.
known for a long time. So how important is that to kind of stick to what you've been doing? Because it's obviously been successful once the season gets here.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been with my trainer Joe Neal at the gym. 2SP is his gym. I've been there for yeah, I think this is my seventh off season there.
Mhm.
Um, I always joke with Joe. I say he's given me no reason to fire him yet, so I got to keep coming back. Not, I'm kidding. It's great. He's the best. He really is. He knows me better than anybody. Well, quite frankly, probably anybody. I spend 5 days a week with this guy. Um, a lot of time together. And he's really great at what he does. So knock on wood, everything's been going well, and try to keep it that way.
Yeah, you just put together, would you say I mean, would you call it your best season yet? I mean, you've had some great years, but I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'm gonna let you do that.
Yes, Julia. I think it's very fair to say that was my best season. I hope I can replicate that for the next 8 years. But you never know. I would definitely say it was my best year. Through a
Yeah.
lot of innings. Obviously had some good results, and yeah, felt really good about it.
Yeah, putting yourself in just categories and, the list, and then obviously being a finalist for Cy Young. These are things we knew that were going to happen just because of the numbers you were putting up. But once the season ends and they're starting to talk about you and hand out some of those awards, what was that like for you?
It was just really cool to get recognized. I think during the season you get so locked in on the just like the team aspect. Like for me, it's I'm trying to post every 5 days, try and get in deep as games as I can, help the bullpen out. And it's all about winning. So once the season kind of ends and you finish out where you're at, then you can kind of look in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm pretty proud of myself. I had a good year, personally. Because while you're kind of in it, you know it. it's bigger, right? Like you're trying to win the division and get in the playoffs and win a World Series. And then, kind of when things slow down and you're in the off season, you can be like, yeah, you know what? That was pretty solid.
Why do you think you took kind of that next step as far as, innings and strikeouts and all of the things?
Yeah, I think if I just look at my progression, just kind of every every stage of my life, right? Like where I was in college, I got a lot better as I got more comfortable with my routine and just kind of how things went out. I think in the minor leagues, same thing kind of happened. I think my first year in AAA, I come back, I kind of know how things go, just get a little bit more acclimated with that. And then I think this kind of just happened in the big leagues too. I think I struggled for quite a bit there at the end of my rookie year, and then kind of the beginning of 2024. So I think it was just kind of everything just came together nicely, and I was able to just kind of take it in stride. And then I think as a pitcher, once you get rolling and the confidence is high, and you can execute at an even higher level than maybe you thought.
What's crazy is when I think about the season and how you were, I mean, you said, you were posting every 5 days, every 6 days for this club. And there was a lot of stuff going on around you. People were getting injured. I mean, like things were changing constantly. It's just a lot of adversity happening around you. So, I mean, like, going back to kind of what you were saying, is just a lot of, you're just thinking about winning and doing your job. But like, how are you even staying focused within that bubble, right? It's like a smaller bubble than the one you're living in with the team and everything that's going on around you.
Yeah, I think of the guys in the clubhouse, it makes it you can kind of de-stress that, right? Like you said, we lost Blanco, Wesneski, and Arrighetti to the rotation, like pretty much right off the rip, which
Yeah.
is, ideally you probably draw up 500 innings for those guys over the course of the year. So, that's a big hit to the team. So just kind of looking around, you don't want to really, obviously everybody wants to, especially on the pitching staff, you want to take it up a notch, and do even better because that we're missing those guys that were a huge part of the vision of the team that year. But then to have guys like, okay, hey, we need to maybe lead these guys like Gordon, blue ball coming up, throwing some big innings. You know, Walter had a huge impact. He did great, and then Jason. I have no idea where Jason came from, and he was unbelievable. So like, I was just,
That was
you
awesome.
get, yeah, you get around these guys, and you're like, you know what, this is what we got, and we're still gonna find a way to win. And then
Yeah.
Framber, quite frankly, the whole year, the guy's still, you know, 200 innings or so. That's
Yeah.
really it's really a big deal. So I think we had all that going, and it just kind of you don't really think about the stress of like, oh, everybody got hurt, or not everybody, but like a large people got hurt. I got to really
Yeah.
really step it up. So I think the guys just kind of make that easier.
Where did Jason Alexander come from? It's so good. But seriously, I mean, that
No,
was
I mean
one
I'm
of the,
serious. I
it's
don't
a
know where
great
he came
story.
from.
It was an awesome story of 2025, honestly. There were days where I was just like, wait, what now? And like, who now? And I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of excitement too for some of these young guys. You mentioned blue ball. I mean, Colton Gordon, I think he pitched a lot of innings, right? I mean, he was like
Yeah.
maybe third on the list as far as starting pitchers with innings, and kind of I don't think he thought that that would happen or we'd see him as soon as we did. So just a wild, wild season. You also became kind of like an old guy in the midst of all that, like veteran. Not, I know you're not
Like
old, but you're like
sneaky though, right? It's a little
all of a
sneaky,
sudden
like
you're like
kind of been around.
the veteran all of a sudden, which is crazy. And so, my next question is dealing with this. It was tough for you guys not to go to the postseason, obviously, but that's something you haven't even
Yeah.
witnessed. You started out, making your debut and then winning a World Series a couple months later.
Mhm.
So, how different was that for you? I mean, how much do you think that will change your mindset going into next year?
Yeah, I think it's been a really long time that in my career that I've showed up to the park knowing that like, hey, this is the last game of the season. I think I mean, really, it's kind of I couldn't tell you the last time up until till this season, right? Like if I go back to
No.
the minor leagues, you play some playoff games and stuff like that, I guess. But like yeah, like I said, in the big leagues, try to win the whole thing, or you don't show up going, we're getting eliminated today. You
No.
think you got a chance to bring it back. So um, I think it just leaves a poor taste in your mouth, and I think, excuse me, I think everybody in the clubhouse, like you said, so many of these guys have, like Altuve's been there for 9 years in a row, or Carlos, even when he was with Minnesota, they were in the playoffs and then come over here. I think everybody really knows the vision, and I think outside, you know, the things that we couldn't can control, those things kind of happen. But going into this offseason and then coming into next year, I think everybody knows that the main goal is to just get back to the postseason, and that's all that's important to us.
I don't even know if I got your reaction to Carlos Correa's return. Obviously, you didn't play with him the first time around, but you knew of him. You knew what he could
Yeah,
do. But what was your reaction, or what was your first impression of him jumping back in?
I mean, he is just like, to me, he's like a superstar, right? Like he's like
Yeah,
A-list celebrity, like
right.
Carlos Correa. He's got the look. He's 8 feet tall. He's an Under Armour mannequin build. Like he's a little bit larger than life when you see him. He walks in, you're like, dude, all right, there's Carlos. But like you
Yes.
said, I hadn't really gotten to know him. And he's just unbelievable guy. And you can tell why everybody speaks so highly of him,
Yeah.
just in one conversation. So I'm excited to play with him for a whole year. I'm excited to, I think, and I don't want to speak for him, but I think when you get, like, yes, it's Carlos of the Astros, and he got traded back in though, and like a lot of the guys haven't played with him. So it's like still like kind of trying to get to know Carlos. I think coming into this year, having a spring training again where it's like,
Yeah.
everybody is reestablished with that, and I think he's gonna do some great things and lead us to a lot of big wins.
Yeah. That's a good call. Yeah, I think he had been gone. Where were you when he left? Like his last year would have been 2021. So
Yeah,
you
so I
just
was in.
missed him.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Wow. Okay. Let's Heaven's fast, Hunter. All of a sudden it's like, what year is this? Where are we?
I know.
You're like years in now. Okay. Before I get too far away from it, let's go back to you being a Cy Young finalist. Did
Hmm.
you know much about the PPI, the draft pick? How much were you aware of this?
I was very aware.
Very aware.
Always try to make your bosses happy, Julia. That's how you keep your job. Make the bosses happy. I know they want the pick. I tried my best to not screw that up when I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. Um, yeah, so I was very aware. I mean, let's be real. I knew I wasn't going to win. I didn't have the numbers. Crochet and Scooble had unbelievable seasons. And they deserved to finish first and second. But yeah, I was definitely trying to do, if I could have, I would have been calling baseball writers saying, make sure I get third. Like I would have been pulling all this. I could have sent a gift basket, maybe some muffins or something. I don't
Oh
know.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Do
You
some lobbying.
got to keep your bosses happy.
So the way it goes is the Astros now get an extra draft pick after the first round, right? Next year, right?
Hmm.
Because you were a prospect for for like a while. I mean, there's this amount of time I think you have to stay a prospect, right? All of
Yeah,
that. And then
prospect turns
eventually.
suspect really quick, though. You know. No,
Well, not for you. Not for you. Well, I mean, too, you were a rookie, like you debuted at the end of 2022. So I had to look all this up because then your rookie
yeah, my
year went into
technical.
2023.
Yeah, but so since I didn't in 22, since I didn't like I played like 20 innings or whatever. Um
Mhm.
I was still a rookie the next year. And then since
Yeah,
I made the opening day roster, that's kind of how that works. So if you're yeah,
gotcha.
if you're a consensus like top 100 guy that makes the opening day roster. So even though I debuted, I still was a top 100 prospect at the start of opening day, and then I broke with the
Okay,
team and never didn't get optioned from there.
there it is.
Right.
Okay.
that's the other key. You got to break
Right.
with the team opening day and stay up the whole year. I'm pretty sure it's the whole year, or 170 of the 180 possible days or something like that.
Dana Brown loved it though. Nice work.
Thank you.
Nice work. I've heard him say that a lot. Okay. Speaking of prospects, have you seen, obviously you haven't been in the minors, but Uyola, do you know anything about this kid that we're
Yeah,
hoping,
I've talked.
we hope to see soon?
Yeah, I've talked to him in spring training over the last
Mhm.
couple of years. I know he throws like he's got a crazy fastball from what I understand, like the
Oh,
way that he releases it and the way it rides through the zone. I don't know. My first thought process of something like that is like Christian Javier, like with his fastball. I've heard, I don't know if it's similar, but that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting when people talk about it. Obviously, you look at the stats and the stuff in AAA. The guy strikes out a lot of people, doesn't give up a lot of runs, so that's good stuff.
yeah.
Now, um, I think that when you first get to the big leagues, there's always an adjustment. I think he'll do just fine though. I think based on I mean, it's kind of I am bummed out that Murph's gone, but we got Miller
Yeah.
as the pitching coach still, so I know he'll get the guidance that he needs to succeed, in an Astros uniform.
Yeah. Uh, yes. Changes.
I know.
I know every year looks a little different. Hey, what advice would you give younger players, maybe that would be listening to this,
Like
who
how
are
young?
playing, maybe, yeah, let's talk even the youth kids, because you know how
Yeah,
serious it gets, how early and
yeah.
how serious they get. So even the young ones who are working and maybe have an ultimate goal, but just like the day-to-day stuff, what would your advice be to these young guys?
My advice would be is fall in love with the game of baseball, not um, are you well, I mean, if we're talking about youth, like, not are you throwing 70 miles an hour this week or 75, or are you going to ever throw 95 or things like that? Really fall in love with the game. And then I would say within that, you can play every position. So you don't need to get so central focused, and those skills will actually help you, when it comes down to making your high school varsity team, trying to play college baseball if
Hmm.
that's your dream or in the cards, things like that. I think it just really become a student of the game by loving it. I think that baseball is one of those games that there's like so many niche little things that, like, if you really don't, you know, like, love the game and every aspect of it, it can wear on you. It can be tough. So I think that's what I would say. And then play all
Yeah.
these positions. Oh my gosh, these people that talk to me, about their, I run into them at the gym and they're like 14 and they're like, I'm a PO. I'm like, dude, you should probably just, like, are you playing football and basketball, like messing around? I don't doing
No.
anything else. And they're just all gung ho about, I want to be up to 95 and things like that. And those things take a lot of time. You got to mature and you got to do these things. So I think, develop the skills of the game first.
Yeah. Well, you're an example of that. I
Yep.
did.
I'm
I mean, you
true
were
catcher at heart, Julia. No big deal.
catcher?
Yeah.
Did you say catcher?
Up until my senior year of high school. Yeah. I could have walked on, not a big deal, at Eastern Michigan. D1 program, could have walked on as a catcher. Like I said, it's not something to write home about. Yeah,
What?
so
I
yeah,
didn't
no, that's
know
real.
this.
Yeah,
Okay.
they said I could both throw and catch bullpens. That was their hook, line, and sinker to bring me in. They're like, yeah, you could basically do nothing for us for a year and
Right.
see if you want to come here. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'll go to Wayne State. They said I
So
could
you went
probably
to Wayne
play.
State. And then, yeah, but it's right. But that's part of your great story is Wayne State, of course, was close to home and everything. But then
Yep.
you blossomed. Like that was where the blossoming happened for you. Like the growing into
Yeah.
was it growing into your body? Was it just figuring out, like, what was it
I
at
think
Wayne
it's a
State?
lot of things. I think Wayne State taught me a bunch of stuff, but I would say number one is like work ethic. Our coach,
Yeah.
Coach Kelly, he had a super, like, blue collar mentality. Like, he would always say that blue collar work ethic, things like that. And he would always talk about how like there's always something to do. Like whether it's, I mean, we used to go around the field and pick up leaves with our hands. Like it got a little extensive, like, where you're like, this, come on, like this has gone too far. But
What a
I
tiny
think that,
field.
yeah, but I think that it translates, and then I think
Yeah.
now in the age where like everybody can transfer and do whatever, I don't think people give themselves a chance to like grow into even where they're at. It's like they want, I don't want to speak for like everybody, but it's like you want to show up somewhere and like automatically, be the dude, or
Hmm.
be the starter right away. Where I feel like at the college I went to, there was something to say about the guy who's put his 4 years of time in, and how he's earned that opportunity and
Yeah.
worked and all those types of things. So I think, for me, it was just kind of a culmination of those years stacking up. And then, I had the opportunity to play in some cool summer ball places. Washington D.C. I was in the Cape for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to where else did I go? Oh, lived in Canada for a little bit. That was cool.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
in the Great Lakes League. So I think like,
Cool.
just started kind of stacking those days, and then it just kind of panned out, which was
Yeah.
awesome.
It all worked out. Okay, before I let you go, who are the teammates you text the most in the off season?
Ooh, probably. Well, it's kind of a tie. Like it depends on what, like just like as friends, or like just because I see their text. Like Wesneski is big time in the fantasy football chat. Like he lets it rip in there. But like probably Gordon and Lance, I would say I'm probably like just texting with the most, like checking
Yeah.
in.
Hmm.
Um, Jake Myers a little bit, but he usually big leagues me and doesn't answer. But he's got kids, so like
Yeah.
it's fine.
He's busy. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I would say it's that I hear a lot of chirp, a lot of chatter from Wesneski in the fantasy football chat.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Yep.
I'm surprised it's not more of you though in the fantasy football chat
I
with
am
your,
currently in first place, but
yeah, I
we're
was gonna
we're
ask.
not going to talk about that. 16-6 record.
Wow.
Team's looking good. Team's looking good.
All right. Keep that up. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the time in your off season. I know it's so precious. We look forward to seeing you soon, FanFest or something.
Yep, I'll be
Um,
there. I'll be there.
yep. We'll see you then. Thanks, Hunter.